Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. Regular viewers will know I review many photographic, audio and video related products. Well, today we're taking a brief look at the Panasonic G90, and here it is. And I love this camera. It's a mirrorless camera and it's a micro four thirds camera. Panasonic are in two camps. They've got the full frame cameras, which is the S1H, the S1HR, is it S1R? And a whole range of mirrorless cameras. Micro four thirds cameras. This is a micro four thirds one. It's basically very similar. It's its little brother to the Panasonic G9, which is this one here. I will go through some of the comparisons between the two. Although I'm concentrating mainly on the G90. And as I've got fitted to it at the moment, my Panasonic 7-14 lens, which is extreme wide to wide. As a lens, very light, very compact, very, very nice lens. And I shall probably keep that lens on this camera most of the time as my sort of go-to camera for we're going out and about, and my go-to lens. I like extreme wide and I like the wide. Now, 7-14 effectively means on a micro four thirds body, that's 14-28. So you can tell it's wide at its widest, 14, and then 28, moderate wide. So, but the camera body, fairly traditional layout on the top plate. You've got your PASM dial, exposure dial, aperture priority, shutter priority, manual exposure, and it's got a couple of custom settings, which is well useful. I've not set them up yet, but I shall probably set them up the same as what I've got on my Nikon Z50 and my Nikon Z6, so I remember what's what. And you've got on the top plate here, you've got your white balance, ISO and exposure compensation, specific controls for that. And they are really easy to get to. They're really nice when you're out taking photographs. It's nicely laid out. The camera, the design of the camera, I think is excellent. It's very, to me, it's very reminiscent of a Nikon Z50, which I have. Also, the grip is lovely. I think the grip probably on the G90 may be a tad better than the grip on the G9. I do like the grip on the G9. You can see here it's quite a meaty grip, and the camera itself is bigger, so you've got a good hold in it, and your thumb rests in a really good position on the back of the camera. But the G90 again has got a really, really nice grip. Because it's a smaller body, your little finger does slip underneath the grip, but that's no big deal. Anyway, that's the grip on the G90. Nicely designed camera. You've got your two dials on the top, which is pretty common these days, really. You've got your front control dial. Most people would use that for adjusting the aperture. If you're in manual, then you've got your dial on the back here, which would control the shutter speed, again in manual. But when you're in one of the automatic modes, say shutter priority, it's the back dial you predominantly use for adjusting the shutter speed. And then if you was in aperture priority, that would adjust the aperture. And you've got, as I say, on the top here, your exposure compensation dial, ISO and white balance. Now the screen, 3-inch articulating screen, which is really, really nice. I wish all manufacturers would put an articulating screen on their bodies. I know why they don't. A lot of it's down to cost, a lot of it's down to weather sealing, etc., etc. But having an articulating screen on the body really does help for composing your image, particularly if you're doing low angle shots. Although to be fair, even a screen that's just on the back of a monitor is fine for low angles, but it's great for doing that. So you can get your low angles, you can get your higher angles if you need to. So, and also brilliant for, obviously, if you're doing vlogging or you want to take selfies. Vlogging particularly, is very useful that you can actually see what the heck you're filming, So from that point of view, great screen. Really love the screen. it's a full touchscreen. That again, very, very useful. I've got so used now to having a touch screen. I don't think I could go back to a camera that hasn't got a touch screen, i.e. the Sonys like the 6400, 6300, etc., etc., with no touch screen. Now, one of the reasons I bought the G90 as well as owning the G9, two fundamental reasons for me. Well, I say fundamental, two reasons why I did. Number one, it's got unlimited video record on it, so you're not restricted to 30 minutes. Now, when I'm doing my filming, as I'm doing here, not having to worry about whether you're going to run out of space or whether you're going to run out of time. I say it's a worry. It's always a concern that I waffle on. You know, I find when I come to edit it, or you know, it stops recording, and that's real pain in the butt. Now, this camera, as long as you've got battery power and a big enough SD card, it'll keep on recording. That to me is phenomenal. I love that. I haven't used it yet, but I know that I will love that. I will probably use it in conjunction with my Sony PXWX70, which actually is a camcorder. So that will obviously just keep on recording until you run out of battery or memory card. So that's one reason why I bought it. And the other reason why I purchased it, it's got Vlog built into it. Now I've got to try it because the G90 only has 8-bit recording. That's internal or external. Whereas on the G9 has 10-bit internal and 10-bit external. But to get Vlog on the G9, unfortunately, you've got to pay 80 quid or thereabouts to have it updated for Vlog. I haven't done that as yet. I probably will, because I will want to compare the 8-bit coming out of the G90 and the 10-bit coming out of the G9. So I probably will do that. But so that was the two fundamental reasons I bought a G90, and also its compact size. It is actually quite a bit more compact than the G9. I mean, it weighs, yeah, the G90 weighs 534 grams. That's body only. And you can see here, it is, you know, well, you can't really see, can you, to be honest? You can't see how compact that is, but that weighs 534 grams. But the G9 is 675 grams body only. The G9 has got many features, and I've done a separate video about the G9, which you'll find on my channel, and I will be doing more videos about the G9. But back to the G90, oops. Back to the G90, so, you know, nice compact body. It's got one SD card slot. The G90 has two SD card slots. This only has the one. It's in the side, which is great. I keep saying the word great, but it is great. My Z50, my Canon here, and many other cameras, the SD card slot is where the battery is. And that's a real pain in the butt when you've got it on the tripod. You can't get the SD card out. It's also a pain in the butt because you can't get the battery out either. So one SD card slot in the side, absolutely awesome. Pleased about that. Battery is a different battery to the G9. That bugs me. All these manufacturers keep giving different batteries. But it lasts about 300 photos, something like that. So it's not bad, you know. And quite a reasonable time for video. But the other thing that I like about the G90, which many manufacturers are doing now, you can power it via USB, which is awesome. So on the side here, you've got a USB port, you've got headphone jack, microphone jack, which is great. Again, nice to have a compact body with both headphone jack and a mic jack. The Nikon Z50, as with my Canon M6 Mark II, has got the mic jack but no headphone jack. So again, I'll be using that quite a bit. But on the side there, it's got USB power. Unfortunately, they've gone for the micro USB socket as opposed to USB-C, but hey ho. And they've gone for the micro HDMI port as opposed to a full-size HDMI port, which is, you know, also a pain in the butt, but there it is on the side there, and that's great. So let's turn it on. Turn her on. bring out the screen, and there you have a nice 3-inch touch screen. Now, what's also great with this camera, when you got it up to your eye and you got it in single point autofocus, so if we look at this, you can assign these function buttons. Well, it's got 4 function buttons within this one dial, and you can pre-assign those to whatever you like. I've got this one set up to my focus area, so you can set it up to face detect, eye detect, custom, multi, and then you've got one area and pinpoint. I usually set it to one area. I don't bother with pinpoint, but set it to one area. Once it's in one area, then, and you've got it up to you. This is great. I've set mine up so I can move a focus point with my thumb on the screen, and it's so tactile and it works really well. And you know what other thing is fantastic with this? You can set it to only use a small part of the screen. So you can see there the focus point is, you know, moving around according to where you put it, because it's touchscreen. But when you've got it up to your eye, I've got it set to just use a small corner, top right hand corner, and that way my nose doesn't change the focus point. If you use the whole screen, my nose moves the focus point, which is really irritating, well, very irritating. So I've set it now so that it doesn't do that, and that is great. And it's so quick and easy. Pick it up to your eye, move a focus point, job's done, take the photo. Awesome. I love that. And it has got also 5-axis image stabilization, and I've taken photographs right down to if you look here, let me get this running. I've taken photographs, here we go, 1/8 of a second. So I've taken photographs right down to 1/8 of a second, and absolutely lovely and sharp. So I will show you a few images in a moment of you know, what I've taken with this camera when we went out and about, just taking a few snaps really in the town. So yeah, great that you can adjust the focus point while you've got it up to your eye. It's got face detect, eye detect, all that sort of malarkey that you expect on all modern mirrorless cameras, and it's got focus points right across the whole, pretty much the whole screen. You look at you know, where you can focus, it's pretty much across the whole screen, or you can just set it to face and eye detect, and that works, you know, equally as well. You know, very, very chuffed with. In fact, the face detect is awesome. The face hasn't got to be big in the screen. It can be quite a distance away, and it will still pick up the face. I think that's absolutely fantastic. Many function buttons on here. It's got, as all Panasonics have, the quick menu, so you can just go through. You can set this up how you like. So you can set up, I mean, I haven't changed any of these settings. You've got exposure compensation, style, photo styles, a whole range of different settings, metering, etc, etc. Set that up how you wish. Again, on the top here, as well as the 3 dedicated white balance ISO and exposure compensation, it has got a specific record button. That's great. Particularly again, if you're doing, you know, you're doing vlogging, it's great that the record button is on the top. Now on my little Canon M6 II, it's on the back, and that's a pain in the butt, because you've got to try and think, well, which button is it on the back here? You know, being on the top, easy to get to, awesome. And it's got another function button on the top here, inside this master control wheel. So again, you can set that up to how you wish. And then what you do, you use the back control dial to adjust. I've got mine set up for adjusting the aspect ratio. I find that useful because I run this YouTube channel. I can set it to 16:9 if I know I'm going to take images that are going to go, pardon me, if I'm going to take images that are going to go on the internet, on the website, or on my YouTube channel, you know. But normally set it to 4.3, so you're getting a better resolution off the micro four thirds sensor. So yeah, that's the Panasonic G90. Images, Very, very good. They're very similar, if not identical, to the G9, probably identical to the G9. You're not going to have any complaints with the images that come out of this camera. The sensor's great. You've got a lot of dynamic range there to work with. I know with Micro Four Thirds, maybe not quite as many stops as you would have with a full frame, but there's plenty there to be able to work with. I'm happy with that. Again, there you can bring the highlights right down. Although it's a murky day, there's no highlights there really to play with, but bring the shadows right up. Sharpness off the sensor, although that has a lot to do with the lens as well, obviously. Well, more so to do with the lens, but you know, it's crisp. It's absolutely crisp. Low light is very good. Up to 800 ISO, absolutely pretty clean, actually, very clean, up to 800. As you go higher than 800, I have found it can get a bit muddy and a bit noisy. But you know, it's not an issue. Even that's not an issue, because with the likes of Lightroom and Photoshop and many other Luminar, many other programs, you can get rid of the noise and you wouldn't even know. Yeah, Panasonic G90, I hope you enjoyed watching this. Thanks for watching. If you do enjoy my channel, please subscribe. It really helps me grow the channel. And hit the like button if you like this particular video. So thanks very much, and stay tuned for more videos relating to video and photography. Cheers, bye for now.